Shin Megami Tensei 4 is the most recent SMT game, which is kind of weird to think about since a few years back they actually did kind of announce SMT 5, or at least it was in the works and nothing's come of it, which I find weird, but I think that's just a different issue. But this game was released back on May 23rd in 2013, and I think it's kind of strange how this was released on a 3DS and not a home console. Because it was in 2013, so I'm surprised it wasn't released on like the PS4 or anything else. But that's again a different issue. But I still do think that this game is pretty solid from what I played. And as always, this game is going to have some unused content, so let's actually get into what's unused. Also, note I've been getting my information from the cutting room floor, and I don't really think I've mentioned this in my other videos about unused content, but I mention it now. So if you want, you can go check out the site. Also, note I'll be doing something similar to what I did with my Persona 5 unused content, because as of right now, I can't really get really good footage of 3DS games since, I just don't have the capture card for it, and if I use my laptop, it would not run well, so I can't really use that. But other than that, let's actually get into the video. First off, we have some unused maps, and the first three are the same exact map, but have slightly different touches. The first one has very dim lighting effects, and the second one actually has newer geometry, monster teleports, and different entrances which connect to the world map. The last one actually has different geometry and an entrance that connects to the Ibuku underground, and that one actually has been removed. Then we also have some empty locations, and all of these versions is where you first meet Walter in the starting cutscene. They are also only filled with dummy messages, and it's assumed that this could have been used for DLC. This next part is just a really small part that's actually near a ruined bridge in Ibukuru, and the entrance is inactive. Now we move on to some unused graphics, and some of them have to be related to the Makoto Castle, and there's actually two unused versions, and one of them is the full city, and the other one's just the castle part, and note all these are just 2D backgrounds, so keep that in mind. Then there's some part with the different areas like the casualty area, the luxury world area, Hunters Association, the castle interior, castle barracks, Kay's Tavern, and some other ones that just go fully unused. I'll show some of them that I haven't mentioned on screen so you can check them out, and all the ones that I've again been showing are unused in the game. There's some unused assets, and that has to be for the Cathedral of Shadows, and both of them are just the area and the dude that shows up. Then there are some really early sketches of two different DLC bosses, and one of them has to be Sanat, and the other one is Ancient of Days. They seem to be uncolored, which I guess that what makes them really early versions. And then there's some really early sketches of the main cast, that being Flynn, Isabel, Jonathan, and Walter, and all of them seem to be colored. Now let's move on to some early interface graphics, and a lot of them just look like really early versions. Note that the player here is actually called Fusosu Hero, I think that's what it's called, and it actually goes by the same sprite as the one from Strange Journey. Along with that, the name is actually the same one used from SMT1, at least for the protagonist. Also note here the demons can't defend, which is kind of weird since in older games they could, but I guess is what makes it the early interface. Also note a slightly more updated one does exist, and the interesting part here is that the protagonist actually goes by Flynn, and it uses the sprite from the main character from SMT1, from different from the last one where we used the sprite from Strange Journey. Then there's also an X2 Mog under the White Water Demon, which is really unknown to what it could have been, so I can't really say. Now we move on to some unused status effects, and one of them have to be Bomb, that was used in Soul Hackers, another one has to be Down, which was used in the Persona titles, Paralyzed, that was changed into Bind, and Close was actually changed into Mute in Apocalypse, so again all these were either changed or just not used in the game. Then we also have the status Paralysis, that actually has the same abbreviation with other games like SMT-If and the second main series game. Then there was also an unused demon, which was Cat Sith. All of these actually went unused, or at least the graphics, and a lot of the stuff from it was actually removed in the development spreadsheet for the other demons, so I kind of found that weird how they just removed it from almost every part of the game, which again I found weird. Now we have Legion skills, and this was actually planned to be a new feature, and also the internal name for this was Horde enemies. The Hordes were not recruitable, but it seems that it was possible to get unique skills if you tried to. It was also planned to be a lot more Hordes, as there are a lot different text that implies different groups of the same type of enemy that were planned to be in the game, but obviously was just cut. The last thing I want to go over is a odd part in one of the models, and it plays in the opening cutscene. In the opening, you can see a Makoto soldier, and the camera only shows his back, but the unusual part here is that the design actually resembles a Kazuma Kento character instead of a Masayuki Do character. And that's all the changes I wanted to go over, since a lot of it was again just text changes, voice lines being removed, and different textures, and frankly I didn't feel like going over all of them, but at least I feel like the stuff that I did talk about was at least kind of interesting, and at least you see a different part of the game that you may have never seen. But frankly, still thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.